Welcome to Built to Work, the podcast that gets its hands dirty, dives into the grit, and uncovers the heart of what makes the blue-collar world tick. I'm Colin, your host, and I'm sitting down with the people who keep our world running. From those tackling the tough jobs no one else dares to do, to the HR professionals working overtime to find the labor force we desperately need. Whether you're in the trenches or behind the scenes, this podcast is for anyone who values hard work, determination, and the stories that build the backbone of our workforce. So grab your gloves, your coffee, or your clipboard. It's time to get to work. Welcome to another Built to Work podcast. I am here with my friend and somebody that I used to do a lot of business with, Bo Lais with Lula. Bo, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
All right, so Bo and I have known each other, I don't know, at least 5 years now, probably, going back into the property management world when I used to own a company. And Bo is the CEO and one of the founders of Lula, which is an awesome company. So, Bo, can you tell the people about Lula? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we're a technology platform that streamlines that maintenance process for property managers and their residents, while also bringing a fully vetted nationwide network of contractors to complete the work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in simple terms, for somebody else that's a property manager, if you basically, that means they don't have to have their own maintenance guys on staff.
Yep.
And renovation guys, make-ready guys, all that sort of stuff. They can just totally outsource that to you and it's all done through you guys, right?
Yeah, and even if they do have some W-2s, the reality is in this business with the seasonality is you can't staff appropriately year-round. So you're always going to engage third-party contractors, even if you have a few W-2s. But we do have some customers that have, outsourced 100% of their maintenance to us. It's just easier to take that pain away from them and put it on our plate, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, and maintenance is definitely a property management pain.
Yeah.
So we actually got to the point pretty quickly where we were 100% with you guys.
Yeah.
I think we kind of worked into it, and then once we saw the path forward, we were like, this was the way to go for us.
Yeah.
You were serving us. You guys started with Kansas City as your first market. Then we worked with you guys in St. Louis, and then in Ohio as well. Yeah, I think 2 markets in Ohio. So how many markets are you guys in now?
So we're in around 47 markets today. So just most recent markets, we just opened up San Diego, Minneapolis, and Colorado Springs.
Okay, so that's awesome. So how many pros are in your network? Like how many people do you guys have access to? Yeah,
so we have 7,000 Lula pros nationwide today that go through a pretty rigorous vetting process. And so we get about 1,000 applicants of contractors a month.
Okay.
We only accept about 12%.
That few. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the criteria for acceptance versus not acceptance?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we go through all your traditional, make sure they have the right insurance, make sure that they pass a background check, make sure they have a professional license, but then we also check, there are any reviews that they have online, Better Business Bureau. We'll also put them through competency tests to make sure that they truly know what they're doing within their trade. And then we put some guardrails once they do get approved where they can only accept 3 jobs and have to successfully complete those 3 jobs before they can actually start seeing more jobs. And then we kind of take those guardrails off and let them go to work.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's great. So with a competency test, so if somebody comes in and says, I'm a general maintenance guy, you're going to give them a different set of questions or scenarios than if it's an HVAC guy, for instance?
Yeah, we do. So it depends on the trade. If it's a handyman, we have certain handyman questions that are pretty common, right, that we ask. But we also ask not how they approach the work to get the repair done, but also what they typically charge. So we let our pros put their own rates, but within a certain threshold, right? So no one's going to pay $700 to replace a toilet in the property management industry, right? Like you want that $250, $300 max, right? So we do let them put their own pricing, but we ask those pricing questions up front to make sure it's going to be a good fit before we even allow them on the platform.
Okay.
And then, the most qualified and affordable pro are the ones that see the most work on an ongoing basis.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I know that with the way everything's gone from you guys, and you guys technology is your thing at the end of the day, right? Like you're a technology company working in the property management space, which is great and is very needed. And then specifically the maintenance side, which I feel like is pretty slow to adapt to technology, right? Because a toilet is a toilet and garbage disposal is a garbage disposal at the end of the day. And you still have to turn those wrenches. It's been great. And working with you guys, what year was it started?
We were founded in 2017.
Okay.
We actually started as a B2C model. So we were serving homeowners.
Okay.
So, but what happened is about a year in is about 80% of all our revenue was coming from DIY landlords. So landlords found it faster and more efficient to leverage our platform to get a quick resolution for their residents than it was to go through like a lead generation platform or call their contractor list, see who's available. And so we actually started picking up the phone, talking to the DIY landlords, and then quickly realized that there was an opportunity for us in the property management space. And so we pivoted in the property management space. We don't necessarily serve DIY landlords anymore that have, one or two homes. It's typically more the property management companies that have several hundred to maybe 10,000 doors.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's been great to see the way that your product has evolved.
Sure.
In the time that I've used it, and it's been a couple of years now since we sold, and I'm sure that it's changed since then, but from how we went from, okay, we submit a work order via email to, at least with the property management software we were on, you guys then plugged into the software.
Yeah, integration.
Yeah, so you got those integrations going, so then you could see as it was coming in real time, and you guys were dispatching and managing all the tickets, and we didn't even have to worry about that at that point.
And we did a lot of the triage manually. So our service team would triage with the resident. Once we received that work order, we would call, see if we could walk them through some of the troubleshooting to see if we could de-escalate and eliminate that work order. Or at least curate that work order so we have a high chance of one-trip resolution. Now we've got an AI product that basically sits on top that front end. So when we get a work order from a property management company, it's ingested. We have an AI with natural language processing that actually conversates with the resident at the time of that work order being ingested, that walks them through the troubleshooting, and then it curates that work order and ingests it into our system, and then we kick it out to our network. So
you're refining the work order using AI so that, okay, you've tried troubleshooting steps that anybody can do, like 1, 2, and 3. Then you pass that information on into the work order. Hey, we tried resetting this, we tried this.
And it's just more information, troubleshooting information that we log for the contractor that's going to be going out, or the Lula Pro in our case, right? And so, examples is like replacing thermostat batteries, right? Resetting the garbage disposal, GFIs, like these things. A lot of times the residents, they want the fastest resolution possible. And if it's something simple that they can do, they're happy to do it, right? So let's see if we can do that troubleshooting and de-escalate that. If not, we have a very nice package curated work order that we can then kick out to our contractor network, which we've seen the increase in a one-trip resolution go from like 62% to in the 70% now, because we're curating those work orders much better on the front end.
So you're saving money for your customer as well at the end, because it's not a 2-trip process.
And it's no resident wants a contractor in there multiple times for the same thing, if you can help it, right?
Absolutely.
So if you can get it done in one trip, let's get it done.
Have you also found I don't want to say a decrease, but have you found that that those resolutions and the triage has helped reduce the number of simple calls that you have to go out and do, like resetting the garbage disposal?
Yeah, totally. I think we're averaging around 10% that gets de-escalated. So out of all the work orders we receive, about 10%, we eliminate a trip through that AI troubleshooting process.
That's great.
And I think residents for the most part are happy to do it if it's something simple.
One thing that I found that was awesome, it was working with you guys, was okay, we focused on managing the property, interacting with the tenants, and we could pass the maintenance off to you guys, right? And for lack of a better term, you guys were the specialists in that department, not because you guys knew everything about HVAC or everything about plumbing, but you had your network of pros. You had such a breadth of people that knew those specific trades that it was easy just to pass that off to you guys.
I think a lot of customers that go all in with us, there's a couple conveniences for them, right? One is some of the larger operators that are buying additional portfolios in different areas. They may in Raleigh, North Carolina, for example, they may get a portfolio of 300 doors, but they have no maintenance supply there at all, right? So they either have to try to build that on their own, or Lula's already in this market, we're already using them in Kansas City. We're confident we can buy this portfolio and immediately start servicing it. because we have Lula, right? And something else that we started rolling out, because we're in so many markets, we have such large buying power now, we started rolling out flat rate pricing programs. Okay. So HVAC, appliances, water heaters, we're just getting ready to roll out drain cleaning, is flat rate. So you know the price of what it's going to cost to replace, a certain tonnage of HVAC system, a water heater, gas, electric, whatever the size. And it's flat rate, so we're helping our customers start control costs, and it's highly competitive. So because we're a buying power, we've gone direct to manufacturer to negotiate the rates on equipment. Okay. And then we have negotiated rates with our contractor network that's in the 45 or 46 markets that we're in today.
Okay, great. So you're saying, hey, we're going to go straight to one of the HVAC companies. Hey, we're going to pay you guys $2,000 for the system. Then you talk to the HVAC guy and you say, hey, we're going to pay you guys $750, I don't know. Yeah. $1,000, whatever, for installation. So here is this. This is always going to be this no matter what market, effectively.
That's exactly right.
Oh, that is great, because there is so much variability in those prices.
Oh, it's all over the board. Right?
I'm sure you've seen that. I mean, we would go get the same thing quoted before we kind of start working with you guys, and they'd be like, oh, it's one guy'd be like $3,000, one guy'd be $2,000, and it's the same thing. And you just I don't understand why there was that difference. So okay, so you're up to 7,000 pros now.
Yeah.
You're in 46 markets. How many markets are you guys going to try to be in? I'm sure there's a minimum threshold of size of market that makes sense for you.
Yeah, well, it really, we're in some smaller markets that we thought we may not go to. I mean, Colorado Springs isn't a really big market, but it's a good rental market. And so we'll go where opportunity is in partnership with either our existing customers, right? Our larger customers have portfolios. We already got a relationship with them. They've got portfolios in other markets. Yeah. We know the work's there. We'll open it up. But, we have a strategic partnership with Appfolio and Property Meld, even Turbo Tenant, which actually does serve the DIY landlord space. But wherever the opportunity is with those partners or existing customers, we'll go if the opportunity is big enough. So we just prioritize those markets based on the opportunity. We're planning on opening quite a few in California this year, quite a few markets in partnership with Appfolio. That's where they're based. They have a lot of customers there. And so we're going to open up, we just opened up San Diego. I think LA is probably the next one we'll open up. So.
I imagine that opening up a market like in LA or San Diego,
it's tough.
It's a lot of work, but there's so much opportunity there as well.
There's a lot of opportunity. You have to have a lot more pros. Traveling in Kansas City is much different than traveling in LA, right? So, a pro in Lula Pro in Kansas City might be willing to travel 30 miles, to a job.
The whole metro in 30 miles, right?
That's right. Yeah. In LA, it's more like 3. So
same amount of time as traveling 30 in Kansas
That's City. Right. So you have to have a lot more density. So, but we understand that, and so we're excited for the challenge.
Yeah. So, what's the process for going to recruit like these pros? Hey, you're going to open up San Diego. I don't know how many millions of people are in San Diego. When you guys do some analysis that says, hey, we need just a general maintenance guy, right? That can handle. So we need one for every so many square mile. How do you guys figure that out, and how do you recruit that?
Yeah, so we break it down by doors.
Okay.
And so we know typically for 1,000 doors, we need X number of pros within each service vertical or trades, right? However, depending on the market, we may need more because of traveling issues, right? So, but what we did years ago is we had our data team, our data science team, get with our marketing team and created these custom scraping scripts that basically scrape the internet, all the directories, and created basically this provider universe is what we call it. And then we have data entry people that go and enter in all the data. We have the trades they're in, all the information about the services they provide, what zip codes they cover. And so when we open up a new market, we go to this provider universe that's refreshed every single month. We say we've got 1,000 doors in Atlanta with a new customer. We need X number of pros. We'll go to that provider universe, and then our provider success team will start contacting these individuals, see if they're interested in working with us, and then we'll put them through the rigorous vetting process, and then once they're approved, they're off and running.
Okay, no, that's great. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to get that ball rolling, and it's a little bit of the chicken or the egg first, right? Do you need the pros, or do you need the doors in these markets? So yeah, that's awesome. So do you guys think that down the road you're looking, hey, we're at 7,000, is it going to be, hey, we're going to 10,000, 20,000 pros?
It just depends on, the markets, how fast we open them. I think that, a couple of years ago, it's like, let's open markets as quickly as possible. And now it's like, let's just, where the opportunity is, let's just open those markets up and make sure that the work is there.
Yeah.
Right. Back before, years ago when we didn't have great processes, it was like, well, Atlanta sounds like a great market. It is a great rental market. Let's open it up. But then you have all these pros that we've onboarded, but we haven't engaged customers yet.
Yeah.
Right. So now we've got pros, like, where's the work? So, so now we've evolved, we've matured, and we have a pretty large customer base now. I think close to 150 customers. And some of them are larger institutionals that have portfolios everywhere. So, and then we got the strategic partnerships now. So now there is the work just waiting. Where the biggest opportunity is, that's where we're going to go and open up. And I can't tell you how many pros we'll have. Maybe we'll have 20,000 in a year. It just depends on how fast we scale the business, right? So
well, I know with us, and following the customer is a great way to do it, right? Following that demand, because I know that we weren't the only one asking you guys to open up Ohio. But you're like, okay, we've got 3 of you guys now asking for Ohio. We'll go ahead and focus on Ohio. And I was like, we very much appreciate that, because we don't want to have to try to manage multiple different vendors in a different state. And it was great working through you guys.
Yeah.
One thing I like to focus on is like success stories that people have had by utilizing services such as yourself, really, like, where they can outsource, right? We've outsourced, accounting, we've outsourced HR, we've, these different various things within our companies. Can you share any success stories that people have had where it's like, before, maintenance was a wreck, and then after, like, it's streamlined? What have you seen anecdotally or experienced?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we all know that maintenance is one of the biggest pain points in property management, right?
Yeah.
It's just, it's a hassle, but doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah.
Engaging a partner like Lula allows you really to consolidate a lot of things. Like, we'll take the ingestion of work orders directly from the resident off your plate. We'll take the phone calls off your plate. We'll consolidate things so that you only have one vendor that you're paying on the back end, so the administration burden is lightened. We have one customer that has portfolios in Kansas City and St. Louis, and they've been with us for, I'd probably say 3 or 4 years now. But they visited our office not too long ago, and they told us that if it wasn't for Lula, they would have closed their doors. Like, that's how much of a pain the maintenance was for them, just managing all the different vendors. And then, those vendors will disappear on you. And then it's a constantly like revolving door of just like trying to build a vendor list and maintaining them. And so they just got tired of that burden, right? And then we consolidate everything on the back end. I think that, they were able to reduce their staff by like 50%. And, so they're more operationally efficient, and maintenance is being done. It's streamlined, and it's a better experience for the residents at the end of the day.
Yeah. So you literally will help them not shut their doors.
That's right.
That's great. And I
can't get a better testimonial than that.
No, you can't. And I'll say that our experience is probably very similar, right? We were having just turnover with maintenance guys, and then we had to get the specialists, right? Like, we had the general handymen, but once we were able to find you guys, we started, somebody was quitting, like, we weren't backfilling those positions, right? We were just kind of letting those positions, we were just shifting more of the work over to you guys. And it got to the point too where it's like, okay, our life is easier, our field staff is cut in half to eventually where it was effectively 0, and we're making more money with less headaches now. And it was just part of systematizing our business. And it was an excellent for us.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen customers reduce the maintenance coordinators that they need because we're handling a lot of that coordination. W-2s, there's a lot of turnover of W-2 maintenance techs, and they're hard to find good ones. And so, a lot of customers, if they've lost a couple, like you just mentioned, we'll just leverage Lula, right? We do a lot to try to control the cost for customers as well, because maintenance costs, they're very, you have to be very competitive in this industry, right? And we understand that, which is why we're continuing to roll out on that flat rate pricing program, so that we can control the costs and our customers know what it is up front. But
that's great.
Our algorithm, when we send out a job to our network of contractors, performance is one of the pieces, pricing one of the pieces, locations, skill, everything else. But we're always, when that job goes out, we're notifying in that algorithm the most qualified and affordable pro that's already working in that area, so they don't have far to travel. So we're trying to do everything we can to really reduce the maintenance costs on top of everything else.
So I was never on the contractor side of that. Do they just have like an app on their phone that they can utilize, and it pings them, says, hey, there's a job nearby. Hey, there's a job in your niche that's just come across the table?
Yeah, it's a native mobile app. Okay. They have to use it in the field. So we have 99% app compliance. So in order to actually do the job and get paid as a Lula Pro, you have to use the app. So that means, they're hitting when they're en route. They're hitting when they've reached the job site. They're starting their clock so we can see how long they're there. Stopping their clock, and then service notes and pictures and everything else. Yeah. But what that does also, it gives us real-time information, which typically doesn't happen. If you're just leveraging, your property management software's work order management system, you don't have that visibility. So Lula, on top of everything else we do, is we provide real-time visibility throughout the entire life cycle of that work order. From the time that job's ingested all the way through completion. You can see exactly the state of that job, where the contractor is. You can even see when he's on site in real time. And then you have instant access to the notes and before and after pictures and the invoice. So you're not waiting around for, the contractor to get around to type up his notes and submit an invoice, which sometimes could be days later and you don't know what's going on. So
I had an HVAC guy reach out to me, and it was like 2 years later. And he was like, hey, I don't think I ever invoiced you for these properties. And I was like, man, I don't own those properties anymore. Yeah. Like, I can't tell you if you did or didn't do that. Like, it was like personal properties too. And I was like, so that's exactly.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. And I remember on the PM side being able to see the dashboard, and I'm sure it's evolved since I've seen it last. But just like, hey, these are scheduled, these are completion, here's the photos, and these have issues. They're coming back. Like it was very, very insightful. So you guys are definitely doing something good with that.
Yeah, we started gotten a lot more granular in what we show. So we're now at the point where you can actually watch the triage process with a resident when the work order is first ingested. So you can see everything that's going on. We mark if it's resident responsibility out of the gates. If it's a home warranty, we recognize that. Different rule sets that your owners might have as property manager for a specific property. Like we have what's an AI co-pilot for our coordinators here, that it serves up all that information in real time. So if there's a warranty on a property, home warranty on a property, we're not just immediately dispatching someone, right? We'll work through the home warranty process. It's resident responsibility. We're feeding that back into, to let the resident know up front that they may have to pay for this work if they're going to continue, because it's part of the lease agreement, which we have stored in our system. This is a resident responsibility. This light bulb is a resident responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You can do this with the most expensive light bulb you ever put in.
That's right.
I would recommend you go to Home Depot and grab one.
Yeah, so we're evolving of where we get all these rule sets from our customers and ingest that so that we're making the right decisions at the time that work order enters into our system.
Okay, gotcha. No, that's great. I mean, the evolution's great. What you guys are doing is great. So, so the future for you guys right now is just going where the market demands and request you.
Yeah, I think right now this is going to be a big year for us. I think we've got a lot of really good processes. We've got a lot of exciting product updates coming out, and it's really about scaling the business, especially with new partnerships that we're forming as we speak. And so it's really growing into new markets, growing the business, staying close with our customers, figuring out what their evolving needs are, and making sure we're serving them the right way. And then AI has always been a component to what we do, but we're doing a lot of really neat stuff with AI now. Just the ingestion piece I talked about is neat. AI coordinator co-pilot. Even on the back end, we've got AI that will rewrite service notes so they make sense when they from some pros that come in, right? They aren't always great. So a lot of different use cases there. And then I think what's really exciting is commercializing our AI work order management system called Foresight. So we're releasing that. So basically taking our internal platform that drives incredible efficiency for our team. We always, when customers come to visit us, they always see how small our service team is, and that's how can you manage 1,000 work orders a day with this small team. It's because of the technology.
Yeah.
So Foresight is essentially externalizing our internal platform that drives our own efficiency for work we do to a true SaaS product, work order management system, that we can sell to customers so that they can drive more efficiency in their own business.
Yeah, that's beautiful. No, I think that outsourcing to a company like yourself that can help drive efficiencies, that allow the experts to do the expert things, then those companies, the property management companies, those owners, they can then focus on new sales, collecting rent, dealing with tenant issues, whatever it is, right? And let them focus on that. So you guys are doing great. I love your product. It's been cool to see you guys grow as well, and there's pride too in a Kansas City company that is out there just killing it, right? Growing coast to coast. So
we'll keep trying. Yeah, and I think you said something that I think is important, is that a lot of these companies, property management companies, especially when they get into the hundreds of doors, they get bogged down with maintenance, right? Mm-hmm. And they're looking for solutions, because what they really want to do is go back to growing their business.
Yeah.
And Lula allows them to do that.
Yeah. Now, when we were at 1,000 units, we couldn't focus on trying to coordinate 25 maintenance guys a day. We just needed to pass it off to somebody, and you guys were the best solution for that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Bo, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.